is the new world heavyweight champion. There's a new leader of the locker room right now. His name is Swerve Strickland, man. Swerve Strickland, I'm going to tell you right now, this man has been putting in the work. This man has been putting in the work since day one on showing up to AEW. And he said ad nauseum, his goal is to be the first African-American AEW World Champion. He has said that time and time again. And he's been close. He's been close on winning and always fall a little bit short. But at AEW Dynasty this past Sunday night, he faced Samoa Joe, like his most dangerous opponent. And he defeated Samoa Joe and became the first African-American AEW World Champion. And first off, I'm going to shout out Samoa Joe, because Samoa Joe, put on so much of an importance on that World Championship as the most important championship in professional wrestling. He put that out there. Like, if you coming to face me, you got to earn your right to face me. I'm not seeking out opponents. You got to come see me. And if you want to come see me, where are you in the rankings? Are you number 6? Because I don't want to see you. If you're number 5, I don't want to see you. If you're number 4, I don't want to see you, because I'm going to destroy you. If you rank number 1, you earn that right to come see me, and I'm going to bust your ass in the ring and send you right back to the back of the line. That was his whole deal of Samoa Joe's title reign. And, some people say, well, he had like 4 to 6 months or whatever the case of his title reign. You don't have to have a lengthy title reign to have meaning to that title reign, because anybody that faced Samoa Joe earned the right to face Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe put them down like old yellow. And that's what it was. Now you look at Swerve. Swerve has slowly turned himself from heel to babyface without doing much of anything, really. He just had a cool factor about him, and Prince Nana really brought that out. And then that main event, where I was on the edge of my seat, to be honest, because one of my main concerns was if Hangman Adam Page was going to jump in and interfere into this match, and then we're going to get denied once again, and we don't have ourselves a new world champion, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with Samoa Joe. If Samoa Joe would have retained, I would have been okay with it, to be quite honest. But to have that match take place and Swerve winning that match and becoming the leader of the locker room, we didn't just get one. We got 2 black champions in one night. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember the last time I actually seen that, but we got 2 black champions in one night. Like, we got Willow Nightingale defeating Julia Hart for the TBS Championship, and she got AEW gold around her waist now. And at Double or Nothing, she's going to face Mercedes Moné. And a lot of people been very critical of Mercedes Moné. It was like, this is going to be her first match in AEW, and it's like literally a month away. And we come to find out that she's not medically cleared fully to compete until Double or Nothing. Even though she did a move or two in the ring, it was just like one move, but actually at work a whole match, she hasn't done that. And, she hasn't wrestled a single match. And where is she in the rankings? Well, it also been revealed that both the TNT and the TBS Championship are open challenge type of championship belts. So you don't necessarily have to have rank there, because Adam Copeland has the Cope Open, where you have wrestlers from outside, from other companies, coming to challenge for that TNT Championship. So that kind of put the emphasis on the TBS Championship, because that is a TV title, basically. So we got 2 black world champions at this point. And with Swerve, I would definitely say this. And Mark Scott says, I'm curious about how Swerve and Willow's title runs will play out. My guess is with Swerve's title run, it's going to run to All In Wembley Stadium, where he will main event against Will Ospreay. And that's going to be a banger. And if I'm a betting man, I think Will Ospreay will actually win his first title in Wembley Stadium, because that is his home country. I mean, or it can go either way, honestly. But I think putting the title on Swerve, and considering how Swerve is in AEW, because he actually does stuff outside of AEW wearing that banner. Like, he's waving that banner. And, you know, he was asked at the press conference, now that he's world champion, is he going to, you know, go on other shows that promote AEW? And he stated, listen, I've been doing this before I even had a title. Like, I've been out here advertising and do everything I had to do to be there. So it's just going to increase. And, you know, he kind of looked at Tony and was like, yeah, we're going to be out there, because he threw the first pitch at a St. Louis like Cardinals game. So he did that. He wore the belt. You know, he did all kinds of things. So I want to say he definitely will go into Wembley. Whether he keeps the title after Wembley, we will see. But that would be a dope thing if Will Ospreay come up a little short, because Will Ospreay has been putting on some barn burners. I will say this to the wrestling community, and, you know, especially the wrestling community of color. One of the main complaints that we have is that we don't have enough, you know, champions of color. But we now have a champion of color. Now, you know, outside of Kofi Kingston, you know, a few years ago at WrestleMania, but we now have a world champion. Now they split champion. We have a single world champion, where not where the brand is split or anything like that. We got a leader of the locker room. Now, I ask those individuals, no matter how you personally feel or whatever the case may be about AEW or WWE or whatever the case may be, we got what we wanted. We got a black world champion. So I think it's in our best interest if we give Swerve and Willow our undivided attention. That means watching Dynamite every week, watching Collision every week, ordering the pay-per-views, like increasing the viewership now that Swerve is a champion. Because now if we do that, that puts more eyes on, or more attention with the upper management. Like, yeah, we got ourselves a star here. Like, he can't go anywhere. Like, this title run needs to go a little bit longer than what it's already been set out to run. But if we don't give that attention, we ain't got shit to say if he have a short reign, if we didn't give AEW the attention that it's asking for. Because it goes both ways. It goes both ways. Like, so now that he's world champion, we have to give All Elite Wrestling the viewership numbers so he can have a lengthy title run. So Willow can have a lengthy title run. Or if she drops the title to Mercedes, she has a lengthy title run. I mean, if anything, despite any kind of faults that AEW might have, one thing I will say, they have had quite a few black champions within the 5-year time span. More than I've seen in a minute. And, you know, we talking Jade Cargill being the longest running TBS champion, being undefeated up until her very, very last match in AEW. Athena being the longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's World Champion and being the flagship bearer of Ring of Honor, literally carrying Ring of Honor on her back. Main evented a Ring of Honor pay-per-view or two. And still is the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. And had one of the best storylines for women's wrestling. And honestly, she was voted, you know, as one of the best women's wrestlers of last year. So there's that, right? And then you have Swerve and Keith Lee being, you know, AEW tag team champions. You have the Acclaimed, which is people of color, being the tag team champions. And then there were the trios champions. And then, you know, you got all these champions that were of color. And I've seen that in abundance. Like, I've literally seen that in abundance in All Elite Wrestling. So, you know, with Swerve, I think he will take AEW to another level. He's in a very short list of champions. He's the 8th champion in AEW. And most of the time with AEW World Champions, they have lengthy title runs, or they have runs where it feels like it's lengthy because of the amount of defenses that they have. You know, they don't have, and now that you have pay-per-views, I think like 9 or 10 pay-per-views out the year now, you know, you got that going on. So Swerve going to have his hands full. And considering how he has a hip-hop influence, he can bring more hip-hop figures in, bring more people in, and he got congratulations all over Twitter. And AEW Dynasty as a whole, is, I put it to you like this: AEW's pay-per-views have always been worth $50. Every single one of them. Like, you don't feel like you lose out on money when you pay $50 to watch it. Now, is that go back to the old formula of watching pay-per-views? Yes, it is. I mean, to be honest with you, WWE may go back to that formula with some major pay-per-views where we actually have to come out of pocket to actually pay for some major pay-per-views. WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, those. So, don't be shocked if that comes in the future. But there also have been rumors of AEW and Warner Brothers Media doing streaming rights, where Tony Khan actually spoke on possibly having a streaming rights deal where, you have the Ring of Honor library, you have the AEW library along with the pay-per-views, and maybe New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I'm going to jump into that, later. But again, like with Swerve Strickland being the world champion, like, he deserves our attention. Like, if this is what we've been begging for, this is what we've been asking for out of any wrestling company, we need to give that said wrestling company that attention now that it's been given to us. Every single week, pay-per-views included. Save some money. Do what you got to do. But be the backup that he needs. Be the backup that Willow needs. Or, these, black professional wrestlers, be the backup that they rightfully deserve. Save some money, man. $50, $50. You know what I'm saying? I understand. And I know AEW announced all the pay-per-views for the rest of the year. So now that gives you dates. I'm like, okay, I can set aside $10 here, $15 over here. Then next thing you know, you got $50 and bam. That little $50 you got in your drawer, you cool in the game. You're straight.